right after you is the famous Austin Bret I Quit match with the double turn. You know, it's a weird thing to ask, but you set the stage earlier where you said, I knew if there was something big, I wanted to be in the crowd. Not saying you were in the crowd, but did you get a chance to watch on a monitor, or it's more about, I got to get this stuff off of me?
No. I think, I know I was watching it live on the monitor. I don't think I wandered out, but this is a case where the monitor only sells out for either the matches that have potential to be really good or really bad.
Yeah.
And even in 97, when I say Mania wasn't then what it is now, you were still having a lot of people who would watch, much more so. And we understood that this thing had the potential to be great. And it was pretty obvious within 5 minutes that we were watching something special that night.
WCW at the time is putting on tremendous cards. But boy, the main event, in a word, sucked. You know, it's going to be Hogan and Piper or something like that. The undercard, though, you're going to get to see Eddie Guerrero's and Chris Benoit's and Rey Mysterio's. But the rap on the WWF at the time was the undercard may not be awesome, but the main event, they're going to deliver. And I felt like at the time that match with Bret and Austin was almost like a momentum shifter. Now, that didn't prove out in the ratings.
Right.
But it certainly felt like, man, there's nobody in WCW who can do what these guys just did. Did you feel the same way at the time?
Yeah. I know I've asked a few people. I remember asking Rick Rubin, the producer, if he understood. Rick is still a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I remember asking him if he knew they had something special when Johnny Cash recorded Hurt. And Rick saw, he goes, not until the video. The video is almost indelibly linked that you can't even listen to Hurt without thinking of that incredible. I get the goosebumps, the head rush now just thinking about that video. One of the most emotional music videos ever done. And so I love getting a feel for what other people say about magic moments, whether you realize they're happening. And I've talked about the element of magic, and I really believe in that. And that's part of the reason I'm grateful that WWE has divided their Mania into 2 nights, because it's almost impossible to have that magic moment in a main event at the end of 7 hours. It's just beyond the boundaries of human endurance, right? It's too much. It's why people needed that breather when I hated being part of it, because I knew how hard Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were working, and then finding out that Finn had been injured in that 3 minutes into the match, it still went another 23, and the crowd at SummerSlam started this belt is stupid, because it was the reveal of the red belt. And I will say that in my, now when I go to conventions, all those things, I probably signed several hundred hardcore titles. The Winged Eagle, I've signed a lot of. I think I've signed that red belt 3 times. And the 24/7 green belt twice, Yeah. So these belts didn't resonate with people. But I think if that match had been on after 3 hours or 2 hours instead of at the 5 hour mark, the fans wouldn't have reacted. But they just need that. They need to be able to relax and enjoy that.
Yeah.
But the element of magic has to be there for a match to go from being great to classic, and from classic to something that families will specifically hand down to the next generation.
I'm just curious, as you're watching in the monitor and you see that great visual of Stone Cold trying to push out of the sharpshooter and that blood is streaming down, me getting to know you makes me think you're probably watching that thinking, man, I know I'm hurting, but I got to have a moment like that.
Ooh, I wanted a moment like that. Yeah. And I had not. And the WrestleMania moment would be elusive to me. But at that time, to me, there wasn't a big difference between Mania and In Your House. It was just as far as pride of ownership. So 1 month later or 3 weeks later, I'm in that main event of the In Your House match. And I'm having what I think is a great moment when I go off the apron head first through the table.
What a spot.
The spot. Never been done before, and I haven't seen it done since. And I was really happy to be, the guy given the task of being Undertaker's first opponent. But
Yeah.
no doubt, I'm watching as a fan first and foremost,
And a friend of Steve's.
and a friend of Steve's, and then there's that third, but not that far behind is Jesus, man, he's competition for a spot as well. And he's just captured that top spot in the company with a double turn that I never saw coming.
Yeah.